I am here with Kayla Smith from the Niagara Region. She is a real estate agent and an investor, going to take us through everything we need to know about Niagara. We have a big news drop, and we got some more information about the types of deals and investment properties that she has on the go.
I wanted to look at this because I think it paints a bit of a different story than what we're hearing. And then this is the number of new listings. Yeah, we've had this extreme drop. Ontario is getting a brand new university in Niagara Falls. So they're thinking major economic and employment benefits. Obviously, anytime you get a university into an area, that does bring high paying jobs. They will be renting for the first 2 years with the idea of building campus, reses, all that good stuff. So this offers a very unique opportunity. One, because they're going to pour a bunch of money into infrastructure into Niagara Falls. So if you already own there, things are only going to get better. They're also building a massive hospital right now in Niagara Falls.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate channel. It is Zack Brittain with Phipps Brittain Real Estate, and I am here with Kayla Smith from the Niagara Region. She is a real estate agent and an investor, going to take us through everything we need to know about Niagara. We have a big news drop, and we got some more information about the types of deals and investment properties that she has on the go. So what do we got for us today?
All right, so we're going to do stats. We're going to do kind of a 3-year outlook. So I want everyone to kind of see, I know it's very doom and gloom, and I'm not saying we're not in unprecedented time as far as interest rates goes, but want to show everybody just the trajectory over the last 3 years, a few news bits, and then just our investor email list. Just want to kind of give everybody an idea of what we're doing there.
Nice.
So
nice.
So
sorry, are we going to get projections, or are we going to get a 3-year what's happened in the last 3 years? Because are you putting your name on what's happening 3 years from now? I'd like to see that.
Well, I don't have those stats, Zach, but we can certainly talk about it.
Hey, we can talk about it. Let's get into it.
All right. So again, NAR puts this out every month. Residential home sales activity recorded through the MLS system for the Niagara Association of Realtors totaled 399 units in September 2022. Compared to...
So you guys did 400 units in September?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like that's pretty good.
I mean, it did, you'll see in the stats, it did have a bit of a little uptick.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But compared to the 707 in September 2021, but as we know, that was a very, very busy, odd outlier time. And then we listed 1177 residential properties compared to the 994 in September 2021, which is a difference, but not a massive difference. And we are up to 37 days on market for the average days it takes to sell from 22 in September. And then our market in Niagara continues to soften, although slower. Mm-hmm. And although inventory is up, sales have slowed, resulting in a continued reduction in overall average prices.
Okay.
So that's their little outlook.
So question before you go on, though. 37 days on market.
Yep.
If a good deal comes up, let's say it's not a 10 out of 10 deal, but a pretty good deal comes up, it's not lasting 37 days, is it?
No. So I think one thing to keep in mind is a lot of the properties that are listed are, end user family properties. These are people that maybe now have a condition of sale of property. Those types of things are sitting longer because we are seeing these conditions come back. So I would say single family homes definitely a little bit longer than the investor friendly homes that are still a good deal.
Okay.
All right. So year over year, again, this is going to paint the same picture that we're kind of used to, but some areas didn't see the same type of number of new listings and number of new sales. But in Fonthill, Pelham, I thought this one was interesting. So we have a bunch of little micro markets within our large market. Mm-hmm. Fonthill, Pelham would be one of them, but number of new listings, 2021, 27, 2022, 59, and number of new sales, we've actually gone down by 1. And days on market have gone up quite a bit. I'm only focusing on this because I was actually showing houses there yesterday, and it's just interesting to see you can get a very, very nice home in a very nice area for, a little more affordable than you could before. But on average, we've seen that number of new listings, 994 to 1177, sales 707 to 399. HPI benchmark price 666 to 661.9. So we're basically back where we were in 2021. We've seen that crazy, up and down, and then we are kind of back where we were. And then the average days on market, we've gone from 22 to 37, just like we talked about.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these benchmark prices from 21 to 22, and they're all within pretty much 1 to 2%.
Yeah, it's very, very close. So it's, not much to say there other than obviously like the days on market, I think would be my major takeaway, and the number of sales that have, it's gone down quite a lot. But month over month, so we're looking at August 22 to September 22. Number of new listings has gone up. Number of sales has gone down a little. We went from 457 to 399, and the price again. So we had 687.5 in August and 661.9. Yes, there is a drop, but you will see that it's a more positive drop than what we've previously seen. And then your average days on market went from 31 to 37. So not a huge climb there. And again, there are some houses that sit for hundreds and hundreds of days. So this does have a bit of an outlier situation, but that is kind of what we're working with there.
Quick question,
are you seeing similar stuff where you are?
Sorry, go ahead.
Similar like trajectory, similar idea where you are?
Yeah, we're seeing good deals really get scooped up pretty quick still. But there's a large portion of the market, both sellers and agents, that haven't fully adjusted to the new realities. So they'll overlist a property or they'll underlist it, and they'll have unrealistic expectations, and it'll bounce around between being relisted, new price, conditionally sold for like a month or two. Yeah. And those really kind of skew the stats for the averages. So I just really wanted to highlight here, like the Niagara totals at the very bottom, like the benchmark prices, the number of sales, the days on market, like those are good, like general indicators. But if you're an active buyer, seller, or investor, like they're so different from all these sub markets, right? Like Lincoln Market and the Thorold and the Welland Market are going to be totally different compared to Niagara on the Lake. Niagara on the Lake doesn't even have that much volume, but their prices are so much higher. So like if you're an investor like in the Niagara area or looking at it, or you're trying to understand it, like take this with a grain of salt. I do the same thing. Like, yeah, it's good to know, but until you specify the exact market you're looking in, like I just call Kayla, hey, Kayla, tell me about this city or this town. Like this stuff is really good to know, but take the averages with a grain of salt if you guys are looking on your own.
Yeah, and I will actually, just speaking to Niagara on the Lake, like I just sold waterfront Niagara on the Lake, very unique. Niagara on the Lake is kind of a luxury market of the Niagara region, obviously, but it's, if you look, the number of sales 18, the number of sales 14, like that like average sale graph it doesn't follow the Niagara region whatsoever, because on 1 month you may sell a $5 million massive waterfront luxury home, and then the next month you sell 10 townhouses, which are still $1 million plus, but it's just a very volatile market because there's not a lot in it. So Niagara on the Lake especially is kind of all over the place. Different way to look at the numbers, but it does give kind of a clearer view. Number of sales down 43.6% from last year. Price down 0.6%, which is basically nothing. And then that average days on market increased 68.2, but exactly what you were just saying, take that with a grain of salt. It's helpful, but it's only helpful, so much.
With context, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then the number of new listings, we had an 18.4% change increase. And the number of sales, we're down 12.7% from August. I don't necessarily, like that you'll see in the graphs that I'll show next, that's not completely abnormal for seasonality, just because the beginning of September is a very busy time for a lot of people. And then benchmark down 3.7%. The reason I say this is positive is because it is the first time in 4 months that it's not over 4%. So we are starting to see it slowly level out. In terms of the decrease in price. It will be very interesting when we do next month and we look at October with the, the increase with the interest rates, what will happen to that. So that'll kind of give us the full story. And then average days on market again, up 19.4, and number of new listings up 7.5%. So nothing, nothing huge there. So that is that. And then, like I said, I wanted to look at this because I think it paints a bit of a different story than, what we're hearing. But if you look exactly what we said, we're kind of exactly where we were last year, just shy. And for anyone that bought, pre here, you're in very good shape. So that's where we're seeing the sellers kind of emerge. If you've bought during this time, which obviously is just over the last year and a half, year and 10 months, I guess, those people we're seeing withhold. They're not listing, they're gonna hold it out, they're gonna wait. But these people we're finding still are. Yeah. Because there's still a lot of money to be made for these people. If you're looking, it was under 400,000 in 2019 and we're up over, over 600,000. There is money to be made for those people. And that's also where exactly what you're saying, Zach, like with those motivated people, they can get in there because these people have room. They understand where the market is. They understand that they've still done very well. Those are the houses that, and then in this little blip, if there's someone that maybe overextended themselves, that's the opportunity there.
And people that have recently purchased too, let's say people that bought like 6 months ago, yeah, sure, your purchase price isn't the same now, but your financing terms are way better. So like,
there's good and bad to this whole thing. Doesn't matter where you landed, there was good and bad to all of it. And then this is the number of new listings. Yeah, like we've had this extreme drop. A little less here, more here. I mean, there was talk of COVID here. This was the start, but I just wanted to show that like we are slowly but surely following the exact same trajectory that we've kind of been following over the last 3 years.
So you think this could fall off a cliff again like it has every December, January?
Yeah, like I mean, seasonality of real estate, that's just kind of how it works. But yes, I do think that there is, we could still see a decline. There are sellers that are pulling back, especially the ones that maybe listed, earlier this year with the expectation that they're getting January, February prices, haven't bought yet, and then are now realizing that it's just completely unrealistic. I'm seeing a lot of those get taken off the market. So if that continues to happen, then there's a good chance that, we see a bit of a dip, but we did see a bit of an uptick right here. So median days on market. So again, paints a very dark picture as well. But I don't think that if you look in 2019, when there kind of was some normalcy, I would say, we were here, we're almost back up there, but it's again, still fluctuates throughout the year, depending on how many listings there are and all that good stuff. So
if you're listing a property, what are you typically telling your guys to expect for a sales timeline?
So it is dependent on obviously their strategy, because we still do have some people that need to sell fast. Like there's still some flippers, us included, that bought, in the height of everything. Still a great deal, so it's still going to work out. But am I gonna try my hat at holding offers on that for a week? Probably. Yeah. Because if I can salvage some of the costs at not holding for an extra month or so, there's that. But if it's someone that's willing to wait, I would say you price it accordingly and you let it sit until you start to get that feedback. But you price it accordingly, but still accurate in the sense that we're still going to get showings. It's not going to be 100 showings in a day like it used to be, but we're going to expect to see, 5 to 10 a week. Yep. And with that, we'll get, the offer will come 1, 2, 3 weeks, and they're willing to negotiate. They're willing to see those conditions come in. So that it really just depends on strategy across the board.
Honestly, and situation. It's tough because until you know the seller, their situation, the property, the other competition, it's really hard. But I think again, median and averages should be taken with a grain of salt. Everything else is situational on top of that, right?
Yeah, and the other thing I will say too is with the median and stuff, I will set that expectation. I will say this is what we're working with for houses that are priced, where they should be. They're priced at market. But if you need to sell quick, but you don't want to do the whole holding offers thing, so it's not as popular right now as obviously it was, we can price it just a little bit aggressively, just under what everything in the market is doing right now. that is, that is like your home or your investment or whatever it is. And the other thing too is if we have people that are looking for those January, February prices, like we're very honest, because I would rather, under promise, over deliver than say, oh yeah, 100% I can get you that price when it's just not realistic. So that's not the game we're in. We are always very honest when we're working with sellers. I will do my best, but I can't always promise that it's going to sell if it's unrealistic based off of, the numbers that were.
Yeah, we've had some of that too.
Yeah, difficult conversations, because I get it, because maybe these are investors that bought at the height of it and we're using those projections as their benchmark, right? So I do get it, but we do everything we can, the staging, the social, the ads, everything we can to get as many eyes on it as possible, and it is working so far. So
good to hear.
Yeah, market feels. So I do like to talk about this just every time.
You have a market feels section? So this is like the what we're actually experiencing, no hard data, but like what's actually going on for you guys. Okay.
The anecdotal Smith & Co. Realty, what are our clients feeling? What are our investors doing? All that good stuff. So I'll break it down kind of end users in terms of families and that stuff, investors, and then also renters, like rental units. So for our families and stuff that are looking, and these are also people that are maybe looking to offload their primary and buy two, maybe an investment property and a downsized property.
Okay.
The people that have enough equity in their home or own it outright, those people are the real winners in this market because they don't have to worry about interest rates, which puts them at a very, very advantageous position.
Okay.
And we have quite a few of those. And these are people that are maybe downsizing, taking half of their money to buy a cottage and the other half to buy a home, whatever it is. But those people are in very good positions. Prices are down, interest rates are up, but it's not really something that's going to affect them quite as much.
So we don't take a big mortgage on the next property. So our monthly isn't nearly as high because we're selling for cash.
Exactly.
Okay. Wicked.
Yeah.
And are we selling first? Are we buying first?
We are buying with a condition of sale of property.
Oh, are you actually getting some of those deals locked in?
Several recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's for them. For the investors, we are, honestly, I'm finding a lot of them coming out of the woodworks with the difference. I think now is they know exactly what they're looking for. They know exactly what's going to work with them at the current interest rate. And we're getting emails just saying like, hey, I'm looking in this area. This is what I'm looking for. Please just send me that. So we're seeing a lot of that. We are seeing the people, again, like myself, we are doing a flip. It took a little longer than we anticipated, and we are going to be selling in this market as opposed to the market we were in. Mm-hmm. Still working, just not, the multi-millionaire genius that I thought I was in January. But it does still work. There are still good products are still selling. So if your flip is done well, if the rentals are done well and you're delivering a good product, I think that there is still a market to get a good price for that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why when you're flipping properties, you give yourself that margin of safety because there is that unpredictability in a real estate market.
Exactly. And unpredictability, especially with it got a little bit better near the end, but the, just getting cabinets and all that stuff, it took a lot longer. Our countertops took a bit longer. So those types of things were taking a bit longer. But again, yes, exactly what you said. When you're looking at flips, especially if you're doing it right now, give yourself a large buffer. Yeah. And then the Airbnbs are still very popular because obviously the cash flow on the long terms are starting to feel crunched if you have people that are in variable. And then we have student rentals making a comeback, which I know you're a fan of.
Personally, I don't do student
Not
rentals.
You, but your market is
our market is been crazy for student rentals for 20, 30 years.
So yeah, that's kind of our investors, and we are seeing the first time investors, the house hackers, those types of people come back into the market too, because in January, February, they felt like they didn't have a leg to stand on because they need that financing clause, because they want that inspection, and because they don't have the buffer if something does go seriously wrong. So those people definitely are back because those things are back as well.
Okay. So, and for Airbnbs, we had a conversation previously. How much of a jump in income? Let's say I get a townhouse in a B plus area. It's a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's just a nice spot. How much am I renting that out for a single family for a month?
So, I mean,
long-term tenant, compared long-term tenant to what I would get for Airbnb.
Yeah, so I would just say the one thing about townhouses is you can't do Airbnb in all of them because
Oh
of
shit,
unless
yeah.
it's freehold, and then also there's the noise thing. If I can go single family, I can definitely, kind of preface it. So single family, we again anecdotally are seeing about double what
Wow.
we would see on the long-term side. But that is with the caveat of obviously you're paying your fees and that to Airbnb and your cleaning
Yeah,
fee if
you're doing
your
the whole
cleaning fee
thing,
doesn't
right?
cover. But yeah, and then I'm also seeing like the one bed units maybe in a triplex where someone's done the upper units as long term, lower as that. I would say it's about not double, but maybe just shy of, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you get your like SEO and stuff going on Airbnb, it can be very, very successful.
Awesome. And you find it's fairly competitive for Airbnbs, like no
Yeah.
problem. You're able to
Yeah.
fill units.
Yeah, I don't think that as long as it's well managed, you've done your professional photography, you kind of understand what Airbnb favors, you should be good.
Okay. Very
But
cool.
if you think you can just set it and forget it, take pictures on your cell phone and that kind of stuff, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's nothing like a long-term rental.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I
Huge
will.
value though, as somebody has experience in that as well as flips and long-term rentals. Like take Kayla's experience. If you guys are looking, take Kayla's experience and use it to your advantage.
The good, the bad, the ugly, guys. I'm happy to share it all.
Yeah. Hey, that's the real side of real estate, baby.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. I just wanted to share because people are
I
always
love the market field section. This is awesome.
okay, Niagara news. So this has been up for a while. It was released about a month ago, but it kind of leads into the Airbnb thing and the next point. But so there's a group that plans to do a high-speed hovercraft link from Niagara to Toronto. The first of its kind, it says this has been done in terms there was transport from Niagara to Toronto. It was not this fast because they're saying this will be 30 minutes. So
How
there
long would that
is,
drive take?
no traffic, hour and a half.
All right. So we're like 2 to 2.5 hours of traffic.
Traffic, which we usually hit some of it as soon as we get out the Toronto way. Yes, you would be looking at about 2 to 2.5, depending on where you're going.
So we're like cutting our travel time in more than half. It's like a quarter of
Yeah,
the time.
yeah. So if it works as well as it says it's going to, this is a big deal, and it also is going to be where it's picking up and dropping off. So it's going to be bringing them to Port Weller, which is in St. Catharines, which will bring a lot of eyes to that area. So there's kind of Port Weller, Port Dalhousie. Everyone kind of knows Port Dalhousie, not as familiar with Port Weller. But on the one hand, I think this brings a lot of eyes to the region. This gets a lot of people here. And I'm assuming as a result of this, if this works out, you're going to see transportation opportunities from this area to Niagara Falls, to downtown St. Catharines and all this. So should be an opportunity, and also may bring more commuters to the area for that. If they have to go into work a few times a week, this could open an opportunity for them.
I'm thinking if I'm in the GTA, but I only need to be there a couple times a month,
Yeah.
And I don't want to make that drive, I'd be looking at something like this, or like I want to go to the Niagara area to go party it up for the weekend or go to wine country with my wife. Like I'm bombing down on this, hitting up wine country, and then going back to the GTA. That is wicked cool.
And it is very close, actually. Like Port Weller's not far from Niagara on the Lake, so I think they positioned it well exactly for that.
Yeah.
And I do think, so Niagara on the Lake does allow for Airbnbs. There is a licensing system. I do think that this just adds to how well those are going to do.
Yeah.
Because you're just more people to the area. And to hold up to 180 passengers, I mean, this doesn't look all that large in the picture, but I'm assuming it will fit that many, and that's a lot of people. So
yeah, it's gonna be cheaper than taking my chopper too. So
yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Fly in. So yeah, very neat. We'll be interested to see how it goes, but I wanted to share that. And then in the other world of news, Ontario is getting a brand new university in Niagara Falls. So
what's
Niagara
the sentiment to this? Like, what are locals saying? Are they pumped, or are they like, oh my God, get these students out of here?
Well, the mayor is very excited.
Well,
I read that today. And honestly, it just got released that it was actually went through. So I don't think we've kind of heard the good and the bad
like
of
new.
Yeah, this came out yesterday.
Ooh,
yeah, I had been following it because I had read some of the stuff in their like meeting minutes and all that it was possibly happening.
Yeah.
But now it actually is. So they've been approved. Everything's good to go. So it's going to be the University of Niagara Falls, Canada. I mean, the name isn't super creative, but here we are. So they're thinking major economic and employment benefits. Obviously, anytime you get a university into an area that does bring high paying jobs, they will be renting for the first 2 years with the idea of building campus, reses, all that good stuff.
Yep.
That comes with it. Again, so the programs that they're offering, this isn't it, but I wanted to show, like, it seems like they're taking a more forward thinking approach. Like, you've got your Bachelor of Science Biomedical, Bachelor of Business Administration, majors in digital economy and digital marketing. Thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Data analytics, marketing analytics, operation analytics, and then management, specializations in emerging technology and entrepreneurship, and then Master of Arts in Digital Media and Global Communication. So it does seem like they are putting a heavy focus on everything that is going to be the jobs of the future.
Business, technology, communication, digital.
Yeah. Which we have these programs in some other areas, but it's just, it seems like the whole focus will be this. We'll see as they start to, because this is what they've received consent to offer so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The other thing is they will have the option of attending in person, online, or hybrid, which I think is very neat if they offer that option in every single program, because that's not something we see in all of these types of programs elsewhere. Having done my Bachelor of Science, that was certainly not an option. So this offers a very unique opportunity. One, because they're going to pour a bunch of money into infrastructure into Niagara Falls. So if you already own there, things are only going to get better. They're also building a massive hospital right now in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
So big stuff happening there. This also takes a level of risk out of the Airbnb investments in the Niagara Falls, because let's say, we have a local election coming up. If they decide to go belly up on that, or they change the zoning or whatever it is, you have student rentals as as one of your exit strategies, which wasn't really an option before.
Yeah. So you're already thinking, okay, if this does go through and I have people that are actively looking to acquire that type of property or already hold it, okay, if things go sideways and they say, oh, no more of these, okay, we flip that into a student rental, or we go with the traditional long-term rental route where the numbers can still work.
Yeah, exactly. So when we're looking, I always say to my clients, like when we're, and investor clients, especially when we're looking at these investments, we need to make sure that we have more than one exit strategy, because
100%.
Cities are always changing kind of their legislation and what you can and can't do. And you want to make sure that you kind of can follow that if you have to. And this just adds one more opportunity to Niagara Falls where, maybe it wasn't there before in the student rental terms. Maybe you can get 5 bedrooms out of a house and now you have, a pretty high cash flow single family, whereas the single families don't usually perform as strong on the long-term rental side.
I just think that's super important for people that are like actually looking to invest and do business. The difference between whether it's an investor or specifically a real estate agent that has experience with investment properties, like understanding your exit strategies before you even pull the trigger on something is something that your average, agent that's only doing mom and pop buy and sells isn't going to consider, and like super important, especially for newer investors, because things can change. If you're a newer investor or you're partnering or you're new to the market, a lot of things can change in your personal, financial, or investment situation. So understanding all your exit strategies, if things that are out of your control change, like great piece of advice. Like so glad you brought that up because I think it's huge.
Yeah, very, very important. Like you said, especially for those first-time investors, we want to make sure that we set them up to scale if that's our goal, but also just to have those options in the case that they need them. And again, I'll use it as an example. We have people looking for these alternative exit strategies right now because their cash flow is crunched with the interest rates. So Airbnb obviously is the way they go, but maybe student rentals down the road. I've seen some luxury student rentals getting thrown around in the mix where they're providing a really nice property, maybe like a new build that has the 5 or 6 bedrooms, but they're providing like really nice furniture, all that stuff, and they're charging a premium for it. Yeah, just today I saw $1,100 a room.
My first apartment was like 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom for $1,400, $1,100 for a room.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, beautiful house, beautiful neighborhood, it's brand new, no one's ever lived in it, but I couldn't live there when I was a student, I'll tell you that. My
Oh God, no, I was way too broke for that.
Yeah, but my $450 a month room was already pushing it. So that is that. I think this is probably the takeaway of the presentation for anyone that's watching, just because it is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And as they start to purchase land, which I believe they're already starting to do, we will see just money poured into Niagara in the same way that we've seen it what's surrounding Brock, Laurier, everywhere. Anytime there's a university, there's money to be,
I was going to say this along with the hospital, these are two massive institutions that are going to be bringing high paying jobs. And then furthermore, for the schools that are going to be producing students that are educated in positions that are in demand and decent, if not well paying. It may take a couple of years to see those students actually come and stay and start building things in your local economy. But in the meantime, if that school starts to expand and acquire and grow, property and real estate values are only going to increase in the short term too. That's wicked cool. Awesome. Honestly, great for the area.
Yes, totally agree with you. And that'll add, like I said, we have Brock, we have 2 campuses in Niagara College. We have a few private schools jumping around. So this is just adding to that. So again, the student market rental just got, quite a lot bigger. Okay, moving on to this. We have been doing investor emails for anyone that wants to be on the list. Pop your information below and we will definitely add you. This is just an example of the one that was sent out about a month ago. What we do is we send out the email. We include a little synopsis in the email of each property so that you only have to focus on exactly what you're looking for. So as an example, it would say 138 Helms Ave, Welland, duplex with conversion opportunity, and the price. And then once you click into that, you will find the photos, you will find the zoning, the price, the days on market, if we've spoken to the realtor, if we know, kind of the motivation and all that good stuff. Again, not to solicit anyone that's working with a realtor. That's not what the intention of this, but we are just getting the information out there for our investors that we work with personally. Awesome. And we are taking videos of these as well. So you're getting the pictures and the videos.
Awesome.
And then you just reach out if you're interested. We can take you, we can go do a Zoom or a FaceTime, whatever it is, to get you through the property. And then we kind of go from there. But this has been kind of our way of getting the investment properties that we see potential in out there. And because our whole team's doing it, it's not just me, you're getting kind of investment, everyone sees investments differently. Something I love, someone else might hate. So the fact that we're all doing it, you're getting kind of everybody's different view on it. So there's a bunch of different types of properties in there.
Okay, so this isn't just duplex conversions. We're looking at multi-units, single family flips, student rental potential, Airbnbs, everything.
Yeah, it has literally everything in it. We kind of give you an idea of what we see possible with it in the little, in the little bit of information that we provide. But again, it just depends. And then if someone wants to dive a bit deeper, they want to know they see a property they like, they want to know what's market rents, what's this, what's that. We are happy to provide that. You just have to reach out.
Cool.
And the information for the realtor who provided it on the team is actually included in the sheet. So you just reach out to them directly and then they help you out.
Awesome. So what's the best way to get in touch with you and your team to get hooked up with this?
Yeah, so all of the information is below. I would say we have an info@smithcorealty.ca email. If you want to email them your information, absolutely. You can drop your email in the comments. We'll be checking that to add from there as well. And then this is the end of the presentation. So if you want to get in touch with me, Agent Kayla S on Instagram, and also all of the info to contact us is below. I recommend booking a call. That's how we like to start and kind of set up our plan with our investors. So yeah, all that's below. Drop us a comment, and thanks so much, Zach.
That's wicked. Awesome presentation. So I know everything about Niagara now. Everything that you covered was fantastic. I like seeing the data. I also like really understanding kind of some of the implications of the things changing in your market and how that it can impact, like you said, student rental opportunities coming up. Short-term rentals are still a thing. But if you guys need a local expert in the Niagara area, easy follow on Instagram, by the way, great. And if you guys want to get on the email list for the deals at her team, there's going to be a link and contact information in the description. But for now, thank you for coming back to the Canadian Real Estate channel, Kayla. Always awesome to talk to you, and even better to be able to host you today. And we'll see you guys soon. Leave a comment, hit us with a like, and if you're not already subscribed to the Canadian Real Estate channel, you got to do it now. Until then, we'll see you next time.